Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Harmon Speaks. We got a great show for you tonight, and I'm glad that you tuned in. Thank you very much. Before we get into the show, I need to say, if you remember Miss Winda for 3 weeks ago, the author we interviewed, she contacted me this week through a friend of ours and let me know that she has COVID and has pneumonia, and she's in the hospital. So if you're a praying person, please send up some kind prayers for her. If you're a good thoughts person, send up good thoughts. And if you don't think about anything at all, just keep watching the video. And thank you for being with us. Tonight, we're going to be talking to Mr. Brian and Miss Betsy. They're a lovely couple. And Brian is a former member of the Air Force. And we, first of all, thank you for your service for our country. I do appreciate that. And we've been hoping to have somebody that was a member of the service on our show for a while. Let me start off by asking you, why did you choose the Air Force?
Well, like I was telling you before, my grandfather was in the Navy and fought in World War II. My father was in the Marine Corps and did 2 tours in Vietnam.
Okay.
And my sister was in the Army.
Okay.
So I figured I ought to do the other one.
Was your sister stationed abroad?
Well, she only served for, I think, 4 or 5 years, but her husband was also an Army, Army medic, and he did some tours in Afghanistan.
Okay, well, great. Well, when you were in the Air Force, where were you stationed?
Let's see, Florida, all the really difficult places. Florida, California, Colorado.
Okay.
And so, yeah,
Okay.
I did some deployments
Right.
to some not as nice places, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us about your experience, and I'm not sure I'm saying this right, but Uzbekistan?
Yes.
Okay. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
That's a miracle, okay?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So, all right, right after 9/11, I was stationed in Harmon, Florida. I was in the Panhandle with Air Force Special Operators. I was getting my hair cut on when it happened.
Okay.
And less than a month later, I was in Uzbekistan.
Okay.
Just prior to the invasion of Afghanistan.
Okay.
So we were at a base about 90 miles north of Afghanistan. And I was intelligence.
Okay.
So I was never in combat. I was never really in anywhere too dangerous. But the folks that I supported, they were the ones that went into combat.
Okay. Now, something happened in Uzbekistan that led to some of the health problems that you've run into since. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the base we were at was an old Soviet air base.
Okay.
And the Soviets, during the Cold War, they used to store their chemical weapons there.
Okay.
So they had sarin gas, and they had nuclear weapons there, and all that great stuff. And it got into the soil. So by the time we were there, it was in the dirt. I was in an aircraft hangar, an old Soviet aircraft hangar.
Okay.
And then in a tent, and we had the dirt all around us that was radioactive, and so I got exposed to some really bad stuff. And a lot of the other veterans who were there, a lot of us, we have a high incidents of cancer and other illnesses as a result.
Right. Now I read your article and was just blown away by what you've been through. And fortunately, we can't go through all that tonight. Fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you see it. But can you give us kind of an overview of what
Yes.
you did? Okay.
About 18 months after Uzbekistan, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma
Okay.
in my tonsil.
Okay.
And I went through chemotherapy and radiation therapy, and the cancer went into remission.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the good news.
Okay.
But because of the radiation, it did a lot of damage to all the nerves in my head and neck.
Mm-hmm.
So it damaged my spinal cord. So on one side I'm partially paralyzed,
Mm-hmm.
and on the other side I don't feel as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also hard of hearing. I can't swallow anymore,
Mm-hmm.
so I get to a feeding tube.
Mm-hmm.
I got secondary cancer, skin cancer in my neck, and that got infected and it went into my bone tissue, and they had to amputate my arm and some of my ribs.
Mm-hmm.
And radiation is progressive. It can get worse and worse
Right.
over time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, we're waiting for the next thing to happen.
Okay.
But so far I'm still here,
Mm-hmm.
and we're been very happy.
Mm-hmm.
We moved to Tennessee after I got out of the Airforce
Mm-hmm.
in 2009
Okay.
and brought our daughter here.
Right.
So yeah, we're doing all right.
That's good. That's great. And you have a teenage daughter. If you can survive that, you can survive anything. So good for you. Not that it was difficult in my house or anything. But anyway, congratulations with that. That's an amazing story, though, that you've gone through all this sort of thing. Tell me about what it's like being the spouse of somebody's going through all this.
It's hard.
I'm sure.
It's definitely it's a journey,
Mm-hmm.
and radiation seems like the gift that keeps on giving.
Right.
You know, we were only married a year after his cancer diagnosis,
Uh-huh.
and we were going through infertility treatments at the time. So it was very hard. It was a difficult time. Thankfully, we ended up down the road that we did with getting medically retired from the Air Force.
Right.
So we have health insurance. A lot of veterans got out
Mhm.
and then were diagnosed with cancer that
Right.
they got at Uzbekistan.
So since you were diagnosed while you were still on duty, you get covered by the insurance,
Yes,
correct?
I'm very lucky.
That's a great blessing.
And a lot of the veterans who are over there, they got out before their problems started.
Right.
The VA didn't even
So-
recognize Uzbekistan yet.
Yeah.
You know, they just did that last year.
That's it. Right.
You know, it's Agent Orange all over again.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
and it's going to be a while, and we're trying to get Congress to get them recognized a lot faster and have history not repeat itself with Agent Orange, and get
Right.
those veterans that weren't as fortunate as Brian
Right.
health care that we needed.
So we need to write our congressman and say, you need to cover all of these medical bills.
Yeah. Tim Merchant,
Right.
he hasn't signed on to the bill yet, so.
He hasn't.
But there is a bill out
There is a bill.
Yeah.
John Stewart is a very big
Proponent of it?
Good.
yes, he has supported it. He's also
He
supported
testified. He
that.
testified in front of Congress
Well, now
on
that-
behalf of.
Yes.
But yeah, that was for the
That was for
res-
burn pit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the burn
But
pit.
he also, we're part of that.
Oh, are you? Okay. It's on the same bill?
And
Okay.
that Tennessee Republican, Mark Green,
Okay.
he was also in Uzbekistan,
Mm-hmm.
And
He's a sponsor of one of the bills.
is a sponsor of this bill.
Okay.
So it has bipartisan Republican, Democrat
That's good. Yeah, that's
support.
good.
So they just need more.
Okay. Tell me about reactions you get from people here in the world now.
Crazy.
You know, it was something that you were saying earlier. I scare a lot of kids now.
Say it again?
He scares a lot of kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Halloween is really fun for us.
Oh, yeah.
We've had a lot of one-arm jokes.
Uh-huh.
Just endless one-arm jokes.
You know
But
what's great with a
very-
partial arm? You get a bowl of candy and get some fake blood and put it on the end of the arm and put it in the candy. And when the kids come up, go, can I have some? Go, if you dare. They go running off. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
I keep a lot of candy on Halloween.
Yeah.
But they get scared of you, and what else you run into?
The smaller kids like point, and we're very open about our story. We open questions. We open people come up to us and say, hey, what happened? You know? And,
Right.
we're okay with it. We also have an adoptive child from China, so we look like a different family.
Okay.
You know, I used to be really embarrassed about eating out in public because I eat through a feeding tube. But then I started, I started doing pictures and videos of eating out at restaurants, and I would take my blender. I got a Vitamix blender, and I would ask them to blend up my meal. So
and then they would bring it to the table, and we would eat as a family, as normal. You know, just he eats through a feeding tube.
Right.
So we are definitely okay.
It.
Right.
Yeah, we've accepted it, and we.
Right.
You just adapt your life.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yep, with everything.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
You gotta
It's the only way to live it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be worried about what everybody thinks.
That's right.
You just got to live your life, and you obviously got a love here that binds you together, makes you stronger, so that helps.
We're very lucky to
So
have found
far.
each other. It'll be 20 years next year.
Yeah.
Amateurs.
Yeah.
Come back when you're old, we'll check you then.
We feel like we've been through the ringer, though.
Well, I would agree. That's dope.
But yeah.
Well,
okay with it.
do you have any advice for people out there who may have a visible disability and feels worried about getting out into the world and worried about being made fun of or whatever?
There are a lot of organizations out there, like Catalyst, and like Star. I think you did another video with them.
I did, yes.
And they cater to disabled people.
Right.
And so going to those events, seeing other people like me, or worse off than me, and all that they can do, finding on social media or on YouTube videos like yours.
Being visible helps. It helps to keep
really
going because you don't know who you touch. We've run into a lot of people. We ran into a kid at the airport that had a feeding tube just like him, and it was he has never seen another person with a feeding tube, and it was their connection was unbelievable, and it's going out in public and being not afraid to have people and point and look and welcome those people to ask questions, and it's there that you find their story and it humanizes you.
I understand where people would come from being afraid to go out there. You know, I was afraid about eating, but you just have to take that step.
Right.
And there are a lot of other people in their shoes or in similar straits. I guess that's what I would say.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what you like to do with Catalyst.
It's been a lot of fun, and I just got introduced to them this summer. We started out kayaking.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
And they have a thing where they can paddle a kayak with one arm.
Right.
I don't have to worry. The thing is stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Not
there's
turn it.
pontoons on the back,
the
right?
outriggers are.
Beautiful.
It doesn't have that pole in the middle so you
Yeah.
can rotate the, right,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
We've been
That's something.
climbing with them
Right.
and biking with them. Hopefully to go
Right.
snowboarding with them.
I've done snowboarding with other groups.
All right.
I really enjoy
That's
getting out
great.
there with those.
Staying active was important to him
Right.
before cancer, and it is after also.
Sure.
And he hasn't changed at all. His
That's great.
humor, his wit, everything.
Right.
It doesn't change you because of the way you look.
Of course. Of course. Well, Leslie challenged me right here on my camera, or Neil's camera, to get out and try some of these activities.
Yeah.
And I suggested that they enter a new competition called the Pie Eating Contest. I feel like I could do that
Yeah.
in my own comfort zone, but I'm just kidding. But I will when I get time, try to get out and do some of these things. I'm not sure about kayaking,
Yeah.
and this will cause me trouble at home, but when my wife and I first started dating, we canoed together, and she started enjoying rocking the canoe and trying to tip us over, and I knew if I went in the water I'd sink because of my legs.
Yeah.
So I finally got her to stop. I've never re-entered the water with her again. I love her to death, but I don't want to die today, so I will not get in the water with my wife. So maybe
It's
the
really-
kayak will be something different.
It's exciting to see the people at Catalyst help the other people. They're just as energetic as
Uh-huh.
the people who are trying to bike or paddle or
Right.
climb, and
Uh-huh.
it's amazing. We've been very happy with it.
That's really great. I want to give it a try. So
Yeah. And you know, if they put a pie in my blender, I can match you. Pie for pie.
Yeah.
I feel challenged here.
Yeah.
I will accept the challenge, Brian.
All right.
And you're going down, buddy. I have a lot of respect for you, but when it comes to pie, you're nothing to me. That's hysterical. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're enjoying your life. And I really am honored that you served our country. And I appreciate what you've been through. You've really got an amazing story. And I appreciate you being here and being a part of what we're doing. Thank you, Betsy, for being here as well. And I thank you for doing this. And I hope 100 million people watch this and you become famous. But if that doesn't happen, please know the ones did. Respect what you went through. And thank you for sharing it.
Well, thank you for doing this. I
Thank
think
you.
Well, I appreciate
it's
it.
a big help to the community. And
Well, I hope so. I really do. And if you're at home and you're still sitting on that couch and you're not sure about getting out into the world, if Brian and I can do it, you can do it. Please get up off that couch, get into the world, find something that makes you enjoy your life, get out and have a good time. If you do not have a physical or intellectual disability, then latch on to somebody who does. Be a friend. Encourage them to get out into the world. There are too many great things out there not to be happy. Please get out and be happy. And while you're being happy, will you please like and subscribe to this channel. We see this as a type of ministry. We're trying to reach out to a lot of people and make life a little cheerier. Please help us continue to exist. Please subscribe. I know a lot of people are afraid to. I don't know why. It will not cost you anything. Go on to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and please keep us alive. Thank you very much. I'm glad you joined us. I hope to see you again next week.